good? We silent here?
And hello, this is Dancer coming at you from the Horizon Overwatch. Alright, and we got another day of HCC. We got our hype week going, day 3, and we got some more scrims with some more teams that are going to be playing an HCC tournament. Today I am joined by my good friend, Redneck Rebel. Redneck, how are you feeling today?
Oh, feeling absolutely great. We got the finals over with, school out of the way. It's time to get back in the caster's chair and get some things done. Thanks for having me back here.
Oh, of course, man. We needed to see more of those redneck comms. I love hearing you cast, and it's exciting. I mean, I'm happy your finals are over with. Nobody likes those finals, but we're here to see some good Overwatch, and both these teams, I'm excited to say, are playing in our HCC tournament coming up this weekend. So these are going to be some good scrims, some good practice, and we might even see some HCC maps being played. We haven't seen them much because everyone wants to practice those open division maps that are more important in people's eyes. But, I mean, I want to see some of these new HCC maps practice, and I'm excited to see this.
I'm absolutely very excited as well. I mean, this tournament we're going to have here is going to be super exciting. A lot of great teams. I mean, really, really great teams are in the pool. I mean, super great games going to be happening.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have another classic case of the hard tanky comps versus dive. Andromeda going up against Cleveland Clutch. Cleveland Clutch deciding to play this tankier comp with the Pharah, and Andromeda defaulting to their dive. So this is going to be an interesting play. It's always interesting when you see two different comps going at each other.
Oh, it makes up for some really interesting play. I'm interested to see the Brigade, and the Brigade goes down. Oh, but the charge out of nowhere could not.
And this McCree getting a little bit hassled, isn't free. And Fooch doing all the cleanup on point. Wow, you can't let him go free like that. That McCree was hassled so hard. Typically, with the dive, they should be pressuring that McCree. Didn't give him the opportunity to get those shots as much as he'd like to. And right away, he's punished and killed. And we already see him swapping off onto the Tracer.
I think that's a really, really good call. I mean, because as McCree, there's really not anything you can do when you get dove like that. So that is a fantastic call by that team.
Yeah, and they see that it's going to be hard to set up. They actually switched to the entire dive. Tank switching, losing ult economy. That's a lot of free point for Andromeda.
Oh, absolutely. This is getting really exciting. Oh, he dies with bomb. Gosh, it's so unlucky. She got bombed quick, though. I'll tell you what, the Pharah's going down, too. It looks like Andromeda is going to have some great defense here. They're going to be backing off, trying to probably live to fight another day, as they say.
And they do get the back off. I mean, if you don't kill healers, they can kind of pocket the team as they disengage. But that's a lot of point. That's 50% build up for Andromeda here. So they got to figure out a game plan and stick to it quickly. Well, because this looks like all ults up on Andromeda in 5 or 6% here.
It was definitely a really good idea to draw. Oh, he dies with trans. Gosh, that is a huge, huge kill for Andromeda. Huge. I mean, I'd say they're probably going to take this fight as well, just with that.
And they only commit the Tracer Bomb. Absolutely nothing else. 5 ults still on the board of Andromeda. We got a few ults still on the side of Cleveland Clutch, but it's going to be rough. You're going to probably need to engage with those healer ults just to make sure you have that sustain to even get on to point. 18 seconds here until the point is given to Andromeda.
Yeah, they definitely really need to have good ult usage here. But the big thing here, I think, is going to come into play. Val's Transcendence. It looks like we got both the Valks coming out here. Here comes the Trans. Perhaps a little early. They still got the rockets on, and then they come out right there. He's going to get one. He's going to get two. Absolutely huge. That was just very, very great play by Snow to wait out that Trans. He sees that Trans being used and immediately pops those rockets as soon as he comes out. That was really, really great.
Ali really coming out with the MVP play there. They've had to pop PogChamp's ult, the Transcendence, which should be paired to sort of take care of Fooch's blade that would have been coming out. But Ali gets the bomb onto Genji, or close enough to get the kill, and that's a good stagger there too. So it looks like it's going to be a while before they can get that regroup and Andromeda can actually take this fight.
Yeah, it looks like Osman just went down, so like you say, they're going to have to chill out a minute, wait, regroup, let's figure out what we're going to do. not a whole lot of good ult economy right now with Blaze in them, but I don't know. It's looking pretty good for Andromeda if they can get some kind of getting the res off there. That's a pretty big res there.
And Andromeda's starting to make the walk onto point. A little bit of harassment, but here comes the blade.
Oh my goodness, gets one with the Diva Bomb. That is crazy. Nice, good pick though.
Not too much from the Genji blade, but it did force them all to split. So now Andromeda in the advantage with this point placement, and Iceman coming out with a massive bomb.
Massive double bomb. That is for sure going to secure the point here.
You already had a man advantage.
Secure the round.
So when you already have a man advantage, to get two with that bomb right there, like I said, you're already split. To be split against a dive comp is really, really hard because everyone's mobile. They can jump on whoever they want and then just hop on to finish it up afterwards. So really, really rough on the side of Cleveland there. Andromeda kind of having them, by getting that dive right out the door, having to force that swap onto the Cleveland clutch, put them at such a massive disadvantage. They lost all of their ult economy. I think 3 out of 6 of their characters had to swap with about 50% to ult, making it just such a late fight there. Even though they eventually get it, Andromeda just waits to get those ults, pops them all, and gets a little bit of value with each, but that's enough to win the fight.
Oh, more than enough for sure. I will say at this point, I think Iceman plays a very fantastic Tracer. This guy's going to be really fun to watch. He is really, really annoying. He's all over the back line. He lands that huge double bomb. I mean, he's making plays every push, really.
But it looks like both teams kind of want to break my heart. Valor is coming out with the first pick. That's Zenyatta, such a big deal. Pound and damage. And look at this Pharah positioning. She can't do anything because they push into the building, into the spawn, and now Snow has to kind of just slowly waddle his way, knowing that he doesn't belong here.
Those are pretty gigantic picks, I mean, right off. And notice the Mercy was damage boosting Iceman there. Oh, corn dog lover, that old boy. He's loving him some corn dogs and loving that damage boost.
So, I mean, the damage boost is a good way to tell who's winning, because if your Mercy's confident enough that she doesn't need to be healing, you're going to be putting out more damage, which means their Mercy has to keep healing, and you get under this, like, teeter-totter effect where now you can't stop healing, you can't get a damage boost, and one team's always in an advantage. So as soon as you see that damage boost coming out, it can be a big deal.
Well, I feel like people just don't give Mercies the credit they deserve sometimes, you know? You always got that Mercy behind somebody with that huge damage boost. I mean, it makes a world of difference, especially with somebody like Iceman who can aim.
Yeah, and this Hanzo just frontlining, melting both the tanks slowly with that E, gets the damage boost. That does so much.
Fat dragon, fat!
And then he gets the Discord damage boost shot onto the Tracer. That's an automatic kill. Wow, and Ali really coming out for his team here, showing up. I think he got 4 out of 6 of the kills required to capture that point.
Oh, yeah.
So good swap on the
Hanzo
Hanzo.
Arrow busted. Woo! That is just going crazy.
The new Hanzo, definitely. You have to get accustomed to it. It seems that he has mobility now. He can kind of frontline, and he isn't played as a sniper anymore. Really more of this breed of Reaper and McCree where he can do a little bit of everything, but he's terrifying.
Oh gosh, that's a gigantic pick. I mean, they have 6 ults in Andromeda right now, but with the res, the huge res. They've got 6 ultimates here, so you can expect them to play really aggressive coming out with the Valk, the defensive Valk from Foxy Medic. The Winston jumping in, we got the Rockets coming out, gets 1, gets 2, and he goes down, but he really got important picks there. He picks the Mercy and the McCree.
But they did get 3 ults out. They got Snow's ult out at the end there, and they got both support ults out of the way. So Andromeda, this is going to be the fight they want to take. That isn't too bad. I mean, they held on to the point originally, so they already have that 50%. This is going to be a really good approach here by Andromeda, and it's going to be very hard to stop this, seeing as you have no more support ults on the side of Cleveland Clutch.
Of course, assuming that, you know, all of the ults are used efficiently here with Andromeda, we should be seeing him take the point here. Just drops a bomb. Oh, I'm shocked he got someone with that. Oh, he's got the high noon coming out. That's 3! He gets 3 with the high noon. Mama mia!
And now the big team can hold on, but what happened there? Both supports committing their ult after Fuchs already got a triple kill. Ooh, that's rough. I mean,
who knows what happened there? I mean, you know, slipped, you know. I don't know. Maybe he got scared. Oh my God, it's his ult. Who knows? But
well, I think the res came out on the
ult.
Valorous, and normally when you res as Zenyatta, it's very common to just pop your ult right after to try and save the Mercy, since typically she's going to be out of position or under fire when she's doing that res. So I think both Corndog and Valorous ulted to save the Mercy's life, and it kind of ended up being a bit of a waste, seeing as you already won the fight, not knowing Fooch was going to do that much work.
Well, of course, you know, things happen, and you know, it wasn't really a horrible decision. But I think
Beautifully.
he just matrixed that. He just matrixed that dragon there. That was a huge matrix.
And you got a big mean monkey here, bruising, hitting, and this is going to be really rough. I think he's going to have 2 kills.
He's gonna get demected and off the map. So unlucky.
Chasing the Pharah down too, and that'll be the last fight. Andromeda taking 2 points, so they already got 2 points here. Really strong showing from Andromeda, and I'm loving this dive. So I thought the dive would be a little bit dead. Everyone said, you know, RIP the dive as soon as Bridgie came out, but it looks like both these teams are still playing it very, very strongly. But this is a Widow map, and typically with a Widow map, you want to get, you know, double snipers, you want to get a tanky comp, and that way you can set it up in a way where you can't dive. So it looks like maybe they're going to stick with it, but I think it's typically standard to even run the Reinhardt here.
Yeah, I would agree with every single bit of that. This is probably one of the strongest Widow maps in the game. There is a lot of good angles, a lot of places to be. I think if they keep running this dive for Brigitte, we'll just call her Bridget, I think that's a really good choice there. I think a swap on Bridget could have really changed the outcome of that game. I mean, it just stops Tracer so hard, and he's clearly a problem.
Yeah, and staying on the low ground, I think Fooch's approach here is trying to be unpredictable. You won't know where this Widow is, so if the dive comes in, you can get some good damage on the tank. Hopefully you can find the Widow. Looks like they're hiding from each other for now, though.
Yeah, I mean, playing passively here is not such a bad idea. No one's really on the point yet capping. They're just kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. But running the D.Va Winston here is a really good idea. You just got to harass the crap out of that Widow. But we've got the D.Va out of Mex, and that's really huge.
Yeah, and Snow coming out with the first pick of the game onto the Tracer, so that's pretty rough. Cleveland popping off here. Snow with the second kill. That Mercy's going to be... Oh, and the Widow's gone too. Snow cleaning up. Definitely, he's gone now. But, I mean, his team shouldn't lose. It looks like it's coming back, though.
Man, Andromeda is just looking fantastic in this game. They are looking like a very great cohesive unit.
And that's so rough. Your Widow gets 3 kills. I guess that Tracer shouldn't be counted because she was probably back in the fight by the time the other 2 came through. But still, you get an engagement, 2 picks, 6v4, and still lose the point. You know what that means? That means target focus is off. The comms must be cluttered here on the side of Cleveland Kutch. I think you got to fix that before your next engagement, or that's going to keep happening.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to take that second to talk about what's happening, what's our problem, you know, where's the pressure, what are we dying to, what's happening on the map, how can we help? Oh, here comes the Valk out. Oh, he almost gets him with the blade. Oh, that would have been so huge. That's a really great bout by the Mercy, though, really enabling his team. With that damage boost coming out again with the pistol, the Battle Mercy comes out. Used to getting that shield. Oh, the shield disappears. He is lucky to be alive, but that is really great Mercy play by Corndog Lover. And he is just enabling his team with the damage boost. Like, that was a really, really strong Valk offensively because you're damage boosting all of your DPS, your Winston, everything. It's just so much damage coming out.
I mean, Andromeda engaged that fight by killing both supports, and then they still kind of, I mean, they're holding on, but that was a close one. I almost feel like it should have gone over to Cleveland there because of how strong they were. That Genji pulled out the blade, did so much damage on tanks, even got a pick. Looks like the recall is happening, the regroup. They're going to have one more chance to win this, but, ooh, that was really, really rough. It's a hard time, you know, when you think you have positioning but you have no supports, you don't have sustain on the point. So if you don't win in the next 15 seconds as Cleveland Clutch, that means it's a loss, and that's kind of what happened there.
And they've got some ultimates here with Andromeda. I mean, they've got the trans to stall for some time. You know, oh, here comes the bomb. Oof.
Oh, and that's all but over. You lose 3 right before the engagement happens. Tracer's going to be able to touch, but I wouldn't expect her to 1v6. That's just too much to handle. And Andromeda getting the clean sweep on Ilios, which was their pick. So good call on Andromeda's side to pick the map they wanted. Wow, what a strong showing from this team. And let's check out this play of the game. Iceman on that Tracer. Like you said, he was impressing you. I think he was impressing all of us.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this guy's definitely got aim, game sense. That's a huge bomb there. I mean, picking the 2 tanks there, I mean, they just have no space. Cleveland has no space with both tanks dead. I mean, that's a huge, huge pick. He's a very impressive Tracer, and like you say about this team, they picked that map, and it's clear, very, very clear that they have put a lot of time and practice in that map. It seems like everything they do is just so coordinated, so on point. I mean, these guys are playing a fantastic game right now. Absolutely fantastic. It's very, very impressive. Of course, you know, I wouldn't count Cleveland clutch out. You know, this could be a map. Maybe they've not practiced very much or, you know, anything like that. But I definitely think these guys maybe need to sit down and talk about, you know, what just happened there and, you know, figure out what kind of adjustments they can make and have a better next game, you know, like. I think, like we said, the Bridget pick would have been huge here. I would love to see a Bridget in some scrim play, some tournament play, because I've been itching to see it. I think she is so strong right now. She just shuts down dive by herself. I mean, she is so, so good. I think that's something we need to try to utilize here.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to be getting your wish headed over to Kings Row. Kings Row is the map. If you're going to see some Brigitte pulled out, it's going to be on this map. So your wish being heard, being fulfilled, and we're headed into Kings Row.
Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting map also. See some more comp difference. I mean, Widow's great on this. Doomfist is great. Unfortunately, we don't see that very much. If we saw a great Doomfist player in this tournament, that'd be exciting to watch as well. But I think we can probably expect to see a Bridget come out on either one of these teams at some point here. As you had mentioned, she is very strong on this map, and she's very, very strong with Reinhardt, who is also a great pick on this map. So, I mean, it kind of lines up here for me, don't you think, Dancer?
Oh, 100%. And I know Marky Mark, when it comes to the 2 tanks, he's stronger on the Reinhardt than he is on the Winston. Haven't had the opportunity to play or see Cushy enough on this channel to know what he likes more or what he's better with. But Marky Mark, I know, is known for his Rhine play, has always been a god tier Rhine. Even in dive meta, he was pulling out some plays with Rhine that people would dream of. So this is going to be really, really good here for the side of Andromeda. But don't forget that this was Cleveland's pick, so they could do anything with this pick. And I'm sure they have a game plan going into this.
I'd say certainly it's to be expected that if they're going to pick this map, they've definitely got some practice in. They know exactly what comp they're going to run. I'd say they come into this with a lot of confidence. So I think we're going to see a lot of really good stuff come out of Cleveland here.
So it looks like Cleveland's going with the Widow. That has no shield break capabilities whatsoever. So the win condition here, it's going to be very important that Snow doesn't get the opportunity to take those duels. And I'm really scared for Valorous because Anna's a very good target against the Widow. If she's scoped in, she's so stationary that it's an easy headshot. If she doesn't know that Snow's on this Widow and waiting, Valorous could be in for a big surprise in the form of a bullet to the face.
Oh, absolutely. It's just going to come with positioning, you know, stay behind your Rhine. And this is going to be where the Brigette can come in here, stun the Rhine, and drop the shield and get a quick pick. That would be huge. It looks like we're going to get right into the action here.
And Snow on this high ground, that shield being very negated. You can see right over it, gets the first pick to engage. And like we said, that's going to be the win condition. If Snow doesn't get these picks, then it's all over for Cleveland. This Widow pick has so much pressure, but so much potential.
Oh, a good Widow can absolutely zone an entire team. You got a Widow that's constantly doing damage, getting picks. I mean, your team's afraid to peek. She can zone a team so hard. Oh, a huge pick on that Junkrat.
And they're going to try to res it. Mercy has the cover of the wall. But look at this again. There's no shield to stop these shots. Snow is so free. But they do go into Hotel. You're going to see the rotation off onto point. But as long as they stay here, Snow is useless.
Well, Mark's got him a big shatter here. He hits 2. That is a really great shatter. Gets the pin. Woo-wee. That was a beautiful shatter. And
like I said, Marky Mark
Mark
wants to be on this Ryan. He knows what he's doing. Looks like Snow's going to be picked off afterwards. But yeah, Ryan is the comfort pick for Marky Mark. Comes out, waits, he's very patient, gets the big shatter and knocks 4 of them on their butts and gets the point for his team. So, I mean, a lot of kudos for that shatter. And Iceman still coming up 64% on the grab while Ali already has it. So this could be really bad. This archway's really hard to get through, especially when there's a grab or a shatter coming your way. We'd expect to see the early grab here to build up some more ults.
Oh yeah, certainly. There comes the rally before the fight. Here comes the tire also. Let's see if he's going to get any picks. This the Widow picks the tire!
Yeah, Widow only requires the 1 shot to kill the tire. She watches.
Oh, that's a huge grab. That's all 6 right there. That is all 6.
But the heal deny coming out on the side of Andromeda. This is really rough.
Oh yeah, this is not looking good. They're for sure going to have to back off here, collect themselves, and just get ready for another push.
But you know what? That wasn't really all that bad. The only ult you use there, I mean, you use the Brigitte ult early, but that's typically a use when you have it ult. But they use just the Junkrat, and look, he has it back again. So really not much commitment on the side of Andromeda to get, I think, what, 3 or 4 ults off on the side of Cleveland Clutch. That's a good trade. I'll take that trade. 9 times out of 10.
Fantastic trade. Absolutely fantastic trade. They can be very happy about that. I like this route that they're taking here.
And Cushy trying to go for the flank shatter, gets caught off, didn't know the team was rotating.
Oh, sets him up with the grab and the Junkrat tire. Is very good. Man, I just think Brigitte is so strong. I mean, just look at the difference that Brigitte makes in your team. Like Marky Mark being so good with the Ryan, if he coordinates with his Bridget well, you're talking about free shatters the entire game.
Yeah,
and likewise even for Cleveland.
Yeah, and Marky Mark coming up with another shatter, looking to make it big again. This point 2 round this corner could be a rough one, especially with Snow picking off into your back line here. Lots of pressure on him.
Yeah, I think both Ryans are just looking for the shatter here. Oh, he gets his blocked! Oh my goodness, he's gonna hit 4! Oh my gosh! Oh, that is just so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah,
that is an absolutely huge shatter. That is just game-changing.
Yeah, Cushy coming out with the big shatter. Denies Marky Mark his, let's just say, guilty pleasure of putting the team on their backs and winning the fight. Not only does he block it, but then he hits his own, and now he's 40% on this next one. This is, I mean, this is really something. That's gotta hurt.
Oh yeah, you drop 4 of them on their back like that, and then you're just swing, and it builds that ult charge right back up. If he's able to stand here and hit a few good fire strikes, I mean, he's looking to have another ultimate again, like very soon.
Yeah, and this is where it kind of hurts. Marky Mark taking the long flank with his team, putting Cleveland on the defensive.
Oh, and they need to be here. They got to be very cautious because of that grab. Oh, and we hear the Junkrat tower coming out. Oh, expected huge kill there. Now we've got the rally coming out. The rally from both Bridgets coming out. We've got a huge pin by the Ryan. Oh, and we've got another grab coming out here. Just gets 2 there though, and then he grabbed. Oh, gosh, with the anti-heal, man. Ana, I feel like is just really underestimated. Like, she is a little weak in the meta right now, but you can't deny the absolute game-changing power of that anti-heal.
And Andromeda did get wiped first, so it looks like they're going to have the advantage on the regroup. Marky Mark looking to redeem himself on this shatter. Cushy got the best of him last time, but a big shatter here is game winning.
Well, looks like he's just going to get 1 there.
He got 1, and this team couldn't follow up. Cushy still holding up his shield, denying the space. But this is still anybody's game. Iceman fully charged with a Mercy Pocket, can get in there. PK gets rezzed back up mid-fight. So this is 5v5. This could be even. Snow getting the pick on them onto the Hannah.
That's a huge res on that Ryan as well. I mean, this could go either way right now. Oh, and he's grabbed, but it's just a solo. Just solo the... Oh, he gets pulled in there. Oh, the Widow picks the tire again. Good night. That is just massive. Getting a Junkrat tower, picking a Junkrat tower like that is huge for your team. It's so huge.
And I mean, it's even bigger too after you get 2 picks. You get 2 picks, then you deny the Junkrat. You deny the Junkrat tire, and I mean, you're denying that with primary ammo, right? So there's like 3 ways to counter ults. You can counter an ult with an ult. You can counter an ult with an ability. Then you can just shoot it like that, and that really hurts. Massive flank shot.
Huge. Oh, you see Cushy's positioning there. He just sat on the stairs waiting for him. He was so patient, and that paid off. He just slammed 3 people out of nowhere.
And Cushy reminding Marky Mark why you check your corners. Really, really rough on the side of Andromeda. I mean, after that initial shatter, they just couldn't make the Reinhardt shatter work. Always getting booped or getting shielded, something happening. Marky almost made that one play once when he got around the shield and shattered the team, but since the Reinhardt was still up, he just held that shield, prevents the follow-up, so the shatter might as well not have happened, even though it did knock, I think, 2 or 3 down.
Absolutely. You still got to get the Reinhardt down every time, or at least get his shield low, break at anything, because he's able to stand there and make space, and just like you say, he prevents that follow-up, so it's basically no value out of that ultimate.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm loving the Ryan play. I was coming into this, I mean, I'm a friend and a fan of Marky Mark. Played with him in Pugs a lot, played with him just around. And I'm gotta say, Cushy definitely giving him a run for his money. These Ryan mind games coming out are really, really good. And I think it gives you a bit of confidence. That first time Cushy blocked Marky's shatter after Mark gets that big one to win point 1, I think after that it was all Cushy. You know, he was walking around with all the confidence in the world and definitely showed it.
Oh, Cushy definitely needs to be recognized for his contributions to his team right now. He has made quite a few game-changing plays. He's a great Ryan, as is Marky Mark. That's why it's so exciting to watch these 2 guys just, you know, go at it here and try to jockey for some position. And I'm just so impressed with the positioning of Cushy on that last push. I mean, he took them guys all by surprise there, all by surprise.
Yeah, the Ryan has to touch the cart to initiate the overtime. Puts his team in a vulnerable position, and Cushy, I think that was intentional. He planned it. He knew that Ryan would have to be the one to touch, and takes advantage of the team and finishes them on the backside. So really, really smart play by Cushy. Like you said, very good positioning.
Absolutely, and that's game sense as well. Like you say, to know that, you know, they've got not a lot of time. Maybe they're not paying attention. They're just focused, oh my god, we got to get to the point. It's overtime.
And these Ryans smacking each other, trying to build space. Really big frontline duel happening here. And it looks like Iceman winning the sniper duel, taking out Snow. And now it's going to be all him on the high ground, pounding into the side of Cleveland Clutch.
Yeah, the Junkrat being damage boosted, and Cushy drops his shield for a second. He just gets deleted. That is just so unfortunate. Definitely going to have to regroup and try another push.
And Snow stayed on this Widow the entirety of the defense. That's 6 minutes. Typically you see the swap off on phase 2, but he was very comfortable, got tons of picks across the entire defense, so I think he's going to want to stay on this as long as possible on the offense here, especially this point 1 has some beautiful sightlines.
For sure, and you can notice Andromeda's positioning, they are making sure that they do not peek that common Widow angle there, so that the supports are not getting killed. Well, that tower comes out. It looks like it's going to get blocked, though, and Cushy a little bit out of position and gets picked away from his team, but his team was getting zoned out by that Junkrat tower there. Not much you can do, really.
Yeah, the team's zoned out, unable to help their Rhine, and while that tire's coming out, Marky Mark, with the backup of his team, walks in, gets that kill on the Reinhardt. I mean, you don't need a kill to get value out of a tire. You can just basically split the team, and you're not playing dive, but you're still able to walk in on the closest member who was zoned out by that ult.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really good play to just be so patient instead of just hitting your tire and just desperately trying to get a pick. Like, that whole team is looking for that tire, so they're definitely not going to be committing to a push or peeking while that's out. Not anytime. Ali looking for his ult here, has it a lot faster than PK.
Yeah, very early ult.
Fat grab with the fat trans. Really, really good trans by Val. Great play for his team.
Yeah, and you're holding that trance. They don't have a Genji. They don't have anything special. The only job for your Zen is to hold trance and counter the Zarya Graviton Surge. So does that for his team. You trade an ult for an ult, and you stabilize this defense. And now look at the ults on the side of Andromeda. Very, very strong ult combos coming out. You have Marky Mark and PK both with your ults.
Really come in for the push. I think with Andromeda, though, we can expect to see the grab in the Hanzo arrow as I was predicting. Oh my gosh, with the huge trance coming out, and then the Junkrat Tower gets him anyway. Oh gosh, that is so unfortunate. But that was still a really, really great reaction by PogChamp there. He did exactly what he needed to do. It is just really unfortunate that the Junkrat Tower comes out and just one-taps the team there.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to have to trade that, because if you don't use PogChamp's ult there, then, I mean, you're going to get wiped by the Dragon, and they won't use the Tire, and they're just going to use Tire next push.
Mark's got Shatter here. He's going to be looking for a back Shatter if it's... Oh, gosh. No Brig, though. He goes in the air and shatters him from behind. Good grief. Oh, and then Mark just gives him a receipt.
And now Marky Mark, the only shield in play, built space on point, but Cushy's back. Oh no, he gets pinned right off res. That feels so bad. Lost his 500 health almost instantly. And it looks like Andromeda is going to be able to hold this point once again.
Oh my gosh, Marky Mark just gives him the receipt. So Cushy hits that, hits his Q there, hits his Shatter, and just gets thrown up in the air by the Junkrat, and he slams down 10 minutes later, and Marky Mark just gives him a receipt. Oh, the counter charge, he's so close! Oh, they're going to pick the run. I think that is going to end it for their push unless something huge happens here with Cleveland. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and a lot of desperate attempts, just trying to get some time. We got a balancing act by PogChamp on top of the Mercy's head.
Oh, another grab coming out. He's got 3 in that grab. That's really, really huge. Both supports. The Mercy goes down and the slam. Oh, Brigit goes down as well. Marky Mark with a huge charge gets killed by the Junkrat. Now they just got to take care of this Pharah, and that will be it for this map. Great play by Andromeda. Great play.
Yeah, and that was a close one. It actually felt really, really rough there on the return. I mean, after you lost all those ults, if you lose a fight on King's Row after using ults, it just feels so rough because it's going to take another minute or two to build that up. You basically only get 2 attempts to try and take the point with ults. So if you lose one of those, it's going to be a rough chance. And I think that's just what happened to Cleveland there. A little bit rough. And Andromeda kind of just gets the better of him on that one.
Absolutely, and I think that the supports all did what they needed to be doing there. It was just kind of an unfortunate, some unfortunate events there, and I think it's great play by both teams, especially the Ryan battle. I kind of hope we get to see more of the dual Ryans there. That was just really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we've been in a Ryan drought the last, I don't know, a few hundred seasons. Haven't really been all too meta for him. But King's Row is good old reliable for tank play. As our friend Argander always says, this map is dictated by the tank play. And I gotta give it to Cushy there. He was just coming out with it. And Cushy and Blaze doing such a good job of backing each other up. Made it really, really hard to walk in on them. Unfortunately, Andromeda just gets that really good first point hold, and they end up taking it.
And the first point is pretty difficult to take there, especially, if your ult economy isn't very good or you just kind of have unfortunate events like what Cleveland was experiencing. I mean, the supports and the tanks making all the right plays, it just kind of didn't work out, but these kinds of things happen. And, I still got to give credit to this team. Both the Ryans are great. They're so fun to watch. The team play with both of the teams is very, very good. I mean, it's clear that, all of these guys play together a lot. They practice these maps, coordination. I really enjoy watching the Cushy and Blaze just with the tanking and, seeing the Brigitte and stuff, paired with that Ryan, because, Ryan is, I don't know, maybe sort of a victim of some of the changes in the game, but I definitely think that Ryan Brigitte combo is just so huge and so good, synergizes so well that it's definitely worth investing the time to get some really good coordinated pushes, especially just bashing the Rhine, dropping his shield, hitting huge 6-man shatters. You know, it's really just to be unexpected. You know, he's sitting there making space for his team. You drop that shield, hit that shatter. It's just so good. Such a good combo. Like, Bridget just really enables Ryan so much.
Oh, definitely. It almost feels like Ryan's, like, it just feels unplayable if one team has a Brigitte Ryan and the other team does not. You're going to get so bullied, and Brigitte can really save a Ryan. If the team starts to walk in on him, she has that push away, and it's not common to see it, but it's really smart to actually use the push away on a different hero than the stun, because you can push one hero away, then you can stun another one, and then you actually have one stunned hero on the shield, and they're man down because you push someone out of the way. So you don't always have to combo those abilities. Sometimes you can just use one to gain the positioning and advantage on the shield.
Absolutely, gain the advantage on the shield. You can cross-map boot some people with that thing. I've been cross-map boot by Bridget, and it is not fun.
And the win condition here, it's going to be really rough, but if Optimal gets on the high ground, he's going to have so much free shots in behind the shield. So I think it's really going to be important to deny him getting behind the shield and getting damaged. Right away, Fooch punished for his walk-in, and Ali getting confident, starting to walk up to the high ground and take these spawn shots.
Yeah, Snow here, you know, I want to say he's got very, very good positioning. The Hanzo goes down. He had good positioning as well, just really unlucky to get hit by that. But Snow has got really great position here because the Winston and the D.Va practically have to dive this guy to do something, which he's going to dive him right now, and he's just going to take off. He's going to get out of dodge on this one.
And Ali got rezzed and made it worth it. Got 2 picks right after. Gets the D.Va during the remake. So, wow, what a character to res. I mean, if you're going to res someone that's going to carry. And definitely Ali made that worth it.
Absolutely. You got to res somebody that you know is going to make an impact or can make an impact in that situation. Things to consider. Ultimates, you know, where is he positioned? Is it going to be safe? Are you going to trade? There's a lot of things to consider with that as well.
And the second res coming out on Ali again. It worked out the first time, so why not again?
Oh,
this Hanzo really defending the backline.
Oh, that's a huge grab. That's a 4-man grab, and the trance is coming out too, so it looks like he's going to be able to save his team there. And then now we've got the tactical visor coming out, and the tank's getting right in his face. That's really, really good play by Marky Mark and PK, because they basically said, nope, you ain't doing this, bud.
And I mean, that looked pretty good for the side of Cleveland. They were able to get the grab on Mercy as she valked. So, so much value being denied there by Andromeda, but it doesn't end up working out for the Cleveland Club.
I like this just getting to the second point, and they're already creating some pressure, but it looks like Ollie is just going to take him down one by one with the one-taps.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
the pharmacy there just gets the next kill, so he's definitely going to stagger him out, and they've got to regroup and figure something out.
Brigitte's credited a lot with, I mean, the death of dive, but I think one thing this Hanzo patch is gonna do, and I mean, if you ask any tank player that ever played against Raxu how painful it is to dive a Hanzo, they would say it was awful, because typically you're gonna get that damage boost scatter shot, and you can one-shot any tank in the game. But this new E ability, I mean, lets you do the same thing. You can just eat through this tank health pools. Ali getting that really nice headshot on Optimal, but he gets rezzed up, so there's still 6 on the side of Andromeda.
I'd say with Hanzo now, his E is just way more consistent, and it is very, very scary. You're talking about getting a damage boost and shooting that. He is going to delete tanks. Oh, that's a huge track coming out, and Snow getting 2 kills with the pharmacy. Here comes that Sonic coming out. Just, goodness sakes. I mean, the new Hanzo is just really, really consistent, to say the least. Especially with Ollie, and it looks like he can aim.
Yeah, Ali, very often the target of the dive here, but the tank's getting eaten up. I think Marky Mark and PK are having a hard time staying together because it looks like a lot of the time they're taking damage without each other. So hopefully they can get a good coordinated dive onto this Hanzo or try and take care of him somehow, because he's just doing so much tank damage on the approach consistently.
Yeah, they really got to put some pressure on this guy. It looks like they're going to right now. Both the tanks diving the crap out of him, but he just gets knocked into really good position. That's pretty lucky for him.
Optimal getting the kill onto Farah. That's so big. On the low ground, gets a second kill onto Hanzo.
Oh, that is going to be huge. Ooh, just gets them all off the point. Andromeda just sweeping right now. They just swept them all.
Yeah, Optimal taking out all of the DPS on the side of Cleveland. They didn't have a chance. You lose that Hanzo, you lose that Ferret, then you lose the Hanzo. It's basically game over after that. You have no way. Like I said, Hanzo was doing such a good job of countering the dive just by pounding damage over and over into the tanks. As soon as he's dead, the tanks are free to walk around, dive, use their shifts however they'd like. And from that, Marky Mark and PK are able to pick up the victory for their team. What a good showing. I'm really happy with that play. Optimal, I think, putting the team a little bit on his back for that for that last capture point.
I can definitely agree. He showed up there and he just made big plays, and both the tanks just diving alley. I mean, there's nothing he can really do when the tanks just get in his face and pressure him like that. You got Diva with the Matrix shooting the rockets. You've got the Winston just holding that mouse one on you. There's just not a whole lot you can do there. I think that was really, really great target calling by them to say, we need to get to this Hanzo, get to him now, let's go together. I mean, they didn't dive solo. They didn't let the Hanzo take 1v1s. They dove together and took care of business.
Yeah, I mean, tanks alone, without even shooting their guns, can do about 120 damage just off landing. I mean, Diva has her booster damage plus melee. Winston can do the same thing. He can land with the Goomba Stomp and melee. So that alone does so much damage. And the Soldier came in there and did about 100 damage instantly with the Discord and the shots. So that, you just melt that Hanzo through the target calling. And it looks like, I almost feel like PK and Marky heard me, because I said they were having a hard time staying together, having a hard time staying coordinated. But as soon as I say that, their next push looked so clean and so good, and those tanks stuck together. They did their job, and they built that space for Optimal to do what he does best, and that's just click on enemies. You know, you got that Soldier gun, you wanna do some damage.
Something to note here, they're going to have the Widow on offense and the Widow on defense, and I think to mention, this is a really, really good map for Widow as well. A lot of good angles, both on offense and defense. She can be really strong here as well.
Yeah, and the Widow really denies the other Widow, so whoever wins this duel is really going to dictate who gets to do more damage on the team, and Ali pulling it out for his team. Snow probably going to be denying that res. As I say it,
Mercy.
You can't cross over like that.
They need to explode into point. That is just huge. They need to explode, get to point, take it over. And you've got the Widow dead, so you have the space. You don't got to worry about nothing. Just get in there and take it. Oh man, this could go either way right now. And people are just flying around everywhere. Their push is kind of getting derailed here, Dancer. Now we're going to see the Junkrat Tower come out. Let's see if he's going to get any value out of this. And he kills the Zen. Blaze is, he's definitely not in a good space, but it looks like Cushy's going to get there. He says, no, brother, I'm here. I'm with you. Oh, insta-dead by the Junkrat. Unfortunate. They definitely need to regroup and have another good push here. But that, I'm kind of surprised to see that not work out for him. There was a couple of huge picks there.
And I'll tell you what the problem is. Valorous never got killed. Won the Widow duel first of all, but the thing is, the defensive team rotated to point without their Zen, left him out of position. You can't let that go unpunished. That Discord and healing is the biggest value coming out for that team at that time, and they just left it unpunished, which is why they win. Valorous definitely carrying his team on that defense because of the Discord and healing.
Yeah, I mean, that gives a lot of throughput for your damage there. We're going to see the walls come out. Well, it looks like Snow's going to aggressively peek there as well. That was kind of what a call.
And he's looking to take this Widow duel. As soon as the Widow's knocked out, he's pretty much free on the high ground. Looking to take out Valorous. Doesn't want a repeat of what happened last time. But with Cushy down, this is going to be a little bit hard to frontline.
Maybe like a little bit of miscommunication, perhaps. I mean, it looks like Cushy kind of went through there and he turned around and said, guys, I'm on the point.
And Fooch really denying Cleveland Clutch from getting their positioning that they want. This Hanzo and Widow are a little bit scared to take these shots against Fooch because he's been so consistent.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. Play a little bit passive. I mean, they're not really in danger of anything right now. You've got the Junkrat just spamming into the choke. That's a lot of zone, a lot of pressure. Snow gets the pick on Fooch. And that is really, really good. And it looks like Corndog is going to get the res, so it's like it never happened.
I mean, and that's the story on repeat tonight. I mean, Snow always getting these picks, getting the best of Fooch, but it doesn't matter because Cushy's always dead. They can't deny that res. They can't walk in to make sure that they don't get it. And Fooch gets rezzed every time as if it didn't happen. It was all just a dream.
Looks like he's going to trans here to kind of just enable his team, get him to the point. Let's spot here. I think that's a really good call. It looks like the Mercy's just going to get dove. The Battle Mercy Corn Dog Lever takes out the Zen. Cushy takes out Val, and then we get a huge grab, but it looks like we're going to not see very much value out of that. I think his team was basically dead there when he did that.
Yeah, I mean, you popped the Zenyatta ult just to get on point. So you lose a lot of that value. I mean, you're using a Zenyatta ult to do what kind of a Lucio speed boost can do, losing a lot of value. I mean, if you're having that much trouble walking through the choke, I think PogChamp should just switch to that Lucio, help with the speed boost. You're walking into a stationary shield, so if you can walk in fast enough, you can just start doing damage.
Well, they're going to have to dive in quick here. Not a lot of time. They're going to get on the point. Oh, they're so close to C9 in there, but they've got the Junkrat Tower coming in. Let's see what it's going to do. Buzz Blaze out of mech. He's going to be really vulnerable here for a little bit. Cushy is putting out a lot of damage on this Winston. PogChamp gets a huge kill. Cushy with a kill. Alley with a kill. They are going to take this point. Great play. They had seconds to work with there, and they just took it over.
Yeah, and I mean, swap into the dive finally worked out for them. And I mean, I guess a good job. I would have liked to maybe see the swap to dive maybe a bit earlier, because Snow's been getting the picks, so dive really good at denying those reses. You buy the space, just jump on whoever got killed. You know Mercy's not going to have her Guardian Angel because she has to use it to get there, and you can try and quickly kill her. It looks like a repeat of history here. Snow getting first pick, but first pick getting rezzed because there isn't enough time to get in yet.
Yeah, really mindful of his positioning, knows he's not really in any danger, just gets his teammate backs up and back with the team. Oh, that bomb's coming out. Really, really good shield by the Winston, just kind of saves his team there. I think dive is really super good to run on this map because you got to think all the high points and stuff that people can get to that they'll typically play, like the Widows and the Hanzos and anybody that can get up there and take advantage of that high ground. You practically have to run dive to get to these people, put some pressure on them.
And Fooch getting the better of Snow that time, catches him out somewhere that's unresable. Mercy unable to do anything and buys about 15 seconds of a regroup here while they wait for Snow to get back into position.
Yeah, I think Snow is kind of checking things out, checking some angles, maybe trying to get him a little bit of information, let him know where they're playing. Okay, this is where we need to go. You know, and just generally just looking for picks to see if maybe if he can get a support or a DPS and just get in there before Corn Dog just, you know, brings him back to life, hopefully.
This Genji getting a lot of free poke unpunished, basically just front lining here. Almost has his ult up too, which is going to be a strong combo to defend.
And Fooch has got really good positioning here, really, really good positioning. Blaze aware of where he's at though and gets up there and takes care of him. And he takes care of the Mercy. That is two huge picks. Cleveland can make something happen here for sure. We're going to see the trans coming out maybe to buy a little bit of time. And then he gets a huge res on PogChamp during that trans, and now he's going to trans. We're going to see a lot of ultimates coming out here, but it looks like Cleveland's probably going to have to back off.
Yeah, and I mean, by the time PogChamp popped that ult, I think it was already lost. A little bit too late. I think he got intimidated when Valorous popped his. But, I mean, now you're in such a rough spot. You had all the cards. You were in such a good spot. I mean, you had that support ult up. I know you committed a lot to the fight before that, but if PogChamp has his ult, he can use it to counter Genji. And you know that Valorous used his ult already, so Ali's going to get a big tack visor. You just kind of messed up your ult economy with that one small panic choice. Very unfortunate for the side of Cleveland. If you held on to that, this next attack could have been the one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because you got to look at the alts that Andromeda has got to work with. They've got the Genji Blade that'll for sure come out next fight, I would imagine, unless it just goes totally wrong for Cleveland here. But, you know, they've not got a trans to answer for that, so he's practically getting a free blade. And, you know, the team's communicated that, you know, hey, the trans is down. Let's get a good blade here.
Yeah, and sees where the supports are.
Oh, and instantly picks the Mercy with that blade. He's going to pick Soldier as well, and then we're going to see the bomb come out. Not going to get very much out of that. Breaks Blaze out of mech. Blaze is just taking some shots there. He is getting out of dodge, baby. He says, no, we have got to regroup.
Yeah, and the stagger's really coming out. You're going to have one push left. If this D.Va dies, you're going to have a 5-man push left, and the call is going in. Optimal going so far deep, trying to do some work. Ooh, this could look really rough.
They just got to go in and use ultimates here, but Val has got trans again. So he's going to come in, probably use this tac visor, and we can probably expect to see the trans come out and just negate that completely.
And the tanks, knowing that someone has to touch, knowing that the supports are going to be free, get into the backline immediately, killing the supports. There's going to be no sustain for this last fight, and you can give away 1-2 ticks. It doesn't matter knowing that you have 3 and this is last fight either way.
Val is practically going to have to come out and just immediately trans and get his team healthy and back up, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Top his team right off, or what's left of it, we can say.
Yeah, that trans came out a little bit early. You could have probably waited for Marky Mark to get back into the fight. You don't want to pocket a baby D.Va. Doesn't have a lot of sustain to that fight. But Cleveland Clutch...
No ability to make plays there by the baby D.Va.
Cleveland Clutch still has a shot here. Optimal getting killed during that blade.
Got a Valk coming out. Oh, and it picks him in the Valk. Snow shoots him in the Valk. That is so huge. What a shot. Looks like we're just going to see him stagger out a little bit here. Cleveland is just taking over. They're just going to keep staggering these guys, and Andromeda is just trying to do anything they can to get on point and just try to buy as much time as they can, maybe get some picks, and it looks like it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, so Andromeda, I think they went a little bit too deep, invested just a tiny bit too much in that very, very last fight there. Thinking that everything was going to go their way. I see it very commonly. Most often, it actually goes on the way of the defensive when they go aggressive, because you know the tanks are going to be on point. You can give up that 1 tick, not a big deal. You got 3, they're on overtime, so you just kill the supports. They have overtime spawns, they're not going to be in the fight, and then you come back. But the problem is, all they got was Zenyatta, so Zenyatta's dead, out of the fight. Mercy's on point pocketing these tanks as they get their kills on the defensive supports, who now have same thing. You got those overtime spawns, gonna be rough. Valorous took way too long to come out because of that 15-18 second spawn, overtime spawn. He couldn't pop his ult to pocket his tanks, and from there you get the snowball on the attack with the overtime. A lot of the time you see those 2 CP lulls on the side of the overtime attacking, because those spawns kind of help, but it was just really unfortunate. I mean, it's a smart play, but you did it improper. Still winnable all the way, but I think Valorous popping that ult, only able to pocket a baby D.Va, kind of was the last nail in the coffin there, so to speak. It's just too hard to recover from no more sustain. You only bought 3 seconds on point. They got the res off, but then Snow gets that massive pick on Mercy, and it's over.
Yeah, I think where it all went wrong is the Zen was just on point by himself. He was totally away from his team. I mean, somebody's out of position there. He just basically got killed for free, and there's really no reason to trans when he got doped, because he was totally alone. I mean, there's no value. I just think it all went wrong at that moment, and then after that, it's just stagger, stagger, stagger till it's over, usually, unless big ults and big plays are made. But once the team gets on point and they get positioned like that, there's not a lot of ways you can come out. So, I mean, they basically expect where you're going to come from, and they're just going to continuously just zone you off and stagger you out till it's over.
Yeah, and walking alone on a stagger into a Zenyatta feels really rough, because you don't even need good comms. There's only one person to shoot. There's one person to target. So you know it's going to be rough on the side of the defensive stagger onto point, which is exactly what we saw there.
Yeah, just a 2 CP thing, and, you know, it's just stagger, stagger, stagger till it's over. It's truthfully really, really hard to recover from that once that's happened. Like, it's just constantly like a never-ending fight of you just kind of hope something big happens.
We had 2 small sparks of hope there, as Valorous got to pop his ult, as Corndog got to pop his ult, and Optimal actually got his Genji ult at the end there. 3 ults coming out, but like we said, when it's short numbers, there's only 1 target to shoot. Still pretty hard to 1v6 or even 2 or 3v6, even with ults. when you have that team coordination in that Discord call.
For sure. And I think this will be a really interesting map as well. Like, I kind of like the map diversity that we're having here. And what I mean is by, like, you know, we're going to see, you know, different compositions, not really the same thing every single game. It's like we're kind of changing it up, seeing what the teams are going to do, what's comfortable with them. And what kind of play do you expect to see here? It looks like they're going to maybe pull out the Sombra here, which I'm very interested to see personally.
Yeah, it's a little bit unorthodox, especially if you're going to be holding the high ground. Typically, I mean, I'd hope if they're actually running the Sombra that they're going to switch over and they're either going to play under Car Wash or they're going to play in Server Room. Two places where there's megas, you can hack them. Some people don't want to play those megas just because Sombra lost the ult charge for it, but I think it's still, I mean, she's not healing any less. It doesn't give you ult charge, but it still does the same amount of healing that it did before. So definitely still valuable to play around those. And I hope that's the call after the high ground is used up.
For sure, and you also, you know, can think that it also denies the enemy team those health packs as well. So, you know, like the Tracer that they're running here, she takes off, goes to get a health pack, can't get it, you know, it could die. And it looks like the Sombra getting picked by the Widow immediately. That's pretty unfortunate. And then Snow just returns, gives the receipt, and picks the Mercy as well. This guy's fantastic, Widow. He's an absolutely fantastic Widow, just gets dove and overwhelmed.
Yeah, none of the team playing with Cushy there. I'm not sure. I almost think that they used Cushy as bait for the dive. That was so strange, but because no one's playing with the shield. He got dove. They tried to do a counter dive, didn't really work out. But Snow being given these sight lines is really rough. We've seen him perform, so I definitely wouldn't test it. I think you should be grouping up on shield or playing corners whenever you can, because Snow's gonna hit those shots. It's
clear at this point that this guy will hit shots if he's got the opportunity. So I think it's definitely best to make sure you're not peeking angles without at least your team behind you, or your tank's able to drop a shield, make some space, or he will land those shots.
And Snow given no more space to do work. This is really rough. That dive came out really, really strong from the side of Andromeda, denying this Widow her sight lines, killing the Sombra very consistently. Oh, you don't want to translocate when there's two tanks sitting on there.
Yeah, I think just really unlucky timing. He's just trying to get to a position. He's got his EMP really soon, so I think they kind of need to make use of this, see what they're going to do, see if they can get some value, make things work out, and then possibly consider a switch. It just, you know, it was just a really rough first fight, but I think give it some more time, see what you can do.
Yeah, for sure. And Snow typically getting the better of Fooch, but this is going to be a really hard angle to engage on. Look at this short corridor. Really easy to hit these headshots.
He drops that bomb on the Winston jumps, and he drops that bomb on him midair, and he's going to push it off. You see that play? He drops the bomb up top on the plane and then just gently just pushes it off, just gets them out of nowhere. They're going to cap this easy on that.
And Ali was looking for the EMP there. Unfortunately, couldn't find it. Gonna get the reset, the fast one-way ticket back to spawn. They're gonna go for a regroup. But Andromeda, their dive feels really unkillable. The only sort of small sprints of hope they've had is Snow's headshots onto Fooch. Pretty consistent with those. Fooch still getting the best of Snow's occasionally. But I'd say Snow's winning these Widow duels more consistently, but the tank play on the side of Andromeda, they're always getting the reses off. They always have the space for this, so not as big a deal.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely enabling their Widow a little bit to be able to play aggressive and get these angles. Oh, that's a huge MP. He's going to get like 3 with that. I think he's got 3 with that. He got both supports at least. It looks like the Mercy's going to go down 1 hit and has ultimate. Not so sure about that trans, though. That seems like kind of over-ulting just a little bit, committing too much.
Yeah, PogChamp really really inconsistent with these trances today, I think. I mean, I just want to see a bit smarter ult usage. A lot of the time it's, I think, more of panic. He sees that his tanks are going down, but a big problem there is Cushy and Blaze got caught out without each other again. I mean, it's okay to position like this, but very, very often, you see one of these tank dying nowhere near the other one, so they're unable to help each other.
Yeah, Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. He gets 2 kills with that bomb. That is really, really huge. It's going to stagger Cleveland a little bit more. We see him come off the Sombra onto the Tracer now. And they're just getting staggered constantly. They just can't get anything going here.
Yeah, this is a stagger city. This is going to be so hard to touch, too. Marky Mark zoning with the punches. Cushy has to ult just to get on because he needs that extra jump. Marky Mark doing too much. Trying to put a little bit of pressure everywhere. Has to touch cart. Has to deny sniper. Really good play by Cushy there. Doing a little bit of everything just to keep his team in the running.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to do everything that he can to just buy some time, get his team alive, and, knock some guys off the point, make some pressure. I mean, he's doing the absolute best he can considering the situation.
And look at the payload. It's at 0-0-0. You can't leave it for a millisecond. Cushy got back on it just on time. This is the... What did we just see? It's at 0-0. Hello, Blizzard, fix your game.
Yeah,
that's gotta
that is
feel
actually
so
something
wrong.
I did not even notice.
Wow, Cushy.
Broken game.
I mean, you can't get any more last minute. We just saw a 0-0-0 hold. Cushy by the skin of his teeth getting on that payload. And I mean, MVP award of that hold goes to Cushy. Did so much work. Killed the Widow, was denying it during the approach. The big deal there was Widow's gonna be able to shoot you for free as you come out spawn doors. Cushy denies that, completely loses the value on the side of Andromeda.
Somebody definitely needs to give Jeff Kaplan a call. Oh, and we're gonna see the bomb come out. That's gonna be huge right there. He gets 2 kills with that bomb. He is just absolutely just ripping it up with those.
2 fights in a row where we see PK getting a double kill. This time they get the real 0-0-0, getting it in. And I mean, second time's a charm. I'm so impressed by that defensive hold. That looked so bad. The payload was so far for you to lose that fight in the end there, and they still got that stagger fight, even ended up winning it. 2 minutes, still a good time bank on the side of Andromeda. Nothing to be picky about. Not bad at all, but I want to see Cleveland Clutch come out very aggressive. I feel like Andromeda, the reason they did so well there is they stayed so aggressive. Fooch had all the space and all the sightlines in the world. He was allowed to do whatever he wanted, so we got to see that on the same side of Cleveland Clutch because we know what Snow can do. He's been tapping on heads all day.
Yeah, and Widow is very, very scary, especially for the Zenyatta. That's pretty much a very, very easy pick for a Widow if you're not actively trying to, make sure that you've got a shield up for your Zen. And that's going to be a huge pick for every fight. I think it's just, Andromeda, golly, Moses. I apologize. I put a /S on that one. But Andromeda, they just had so much momentum. They come out, like you say, so aggressive, constantly getting the staggers. I mean, it was constantly like they had numbers the entire offensive push just with that aggression.
And it felt like points 1, 2, and 3 were all won in one team fight. That means there's good staggers going on. Like you said, when you stay on the aggressive, you're able to keep taking those number advantages. And every single time, there was a reset on the side of Cleveland Clutch. They're not losing those fights. It's just those staggers. The fights are lasting so long and they're off cart. If you die off cart, that means it's position. You're just giving the free point to the other team. So Andromeda got so much free point during those fights. Always just sat Valorous back on that card, moving it. But we're going to see if Cleveland Clutch can do the same thing on the reverse.
Yeah, it was very beautiful team play, and I think Cleveland's definitely capable of making the same kind of things happen. Oh, and that's a huge pick on the Tracer there. Just jumps up and just punches him right in the mouth.
And the double sniper coming out for Cleveland. This is so deadly. You have that advantage of Ali being able to scout out with the Sonic Arrow and basically give Fooch these, or give Snow these sights against Fooch.
Very, very correct. And I like Andromeda's positioning here. Like you see the Zen is holding that high ground, making sure that he's safe. He's not peeking any angles that the Widow is going to see him from. Like, this is just very, very intelligent, very, very good positioning. The only thing he's really at risk for is just the tank stopping up there, but it looks like Cleveland is going to get wiped out here, going to have to regroup and, have another push.
And Ali getting 2 on the way out. The big problem there is PogChamp was pushing the cart. The tanks noticed this. They got the dive, and the counter dive took just a few seconds too long to get there. PogChamp caught out for free. You lose your Zen first pick, you're losing the Discord, which is kind of the most important ability for a team fight. So a really easy win there just by diving that Zen first.
For sure, and then you got to think very, very soon they're going to be coming to that trans, and that's pretty much the best defense vault in the game. And that can just really derail a push and make you not get value out of ultimates. Killing the Zen first is a big, big deal.
And look at how hard Valorous is to kill. The dive target was Valorous for the side of Cleveland Clutch, and they weren't able to do anything. I think they got only 2 ticks of health bar off of his health on that with a full dive coordinated on him. So that's not to say one team's better than the other. It's just positioning and just the positioning of the tanks and the Zens a lot stronger on the side of Andromeda. They're playing around keeping this game of keep Zen alive. Valorous, I mean, tank play isn't going to do much against that.
Just makes it go away again. I like these ultimates by PK. He's putting them on the high ground there and then just slowly pushing them off, catching them by surprise.
And can we petition, to change Foxy Medic's name to, I don't know, Mistake Eraser? Because every single time Snow's getting a kill, he shoots someone out of position in the head. It doesn't matter, because Foxy Medic just gets a free res. It's still 6-6. Nothing ever happened. It was just a dream. And, I mean, Snow's going to go to bed crying a little bit tonight because he's consistently getting these picks, but they're just erased.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and he's really mindful of his positioning as well. He makes sure he's not totally out in the open. He got behind the wall so he doesn't get picked. He's a very, very good Mercy, very intelligent. Val's got his Transcendence here, so we could probably expect to see that come out. We've got Diva Bomb, and we're going to see the first trans come out by PogChamp, and we're going to see the Diva Bomb come out kind of away from the fight there, not much value. Widows are taking shots. We've got the Tracer killing the Mercy. Huge pick. We've got Ali just getting up there, getting in Fucha's face and saying, "Stop shooting, bud. I'm sick of this." Mark getting a few kills himself, and he is just so aggro, popping that ult. He just got right in Snow's face.
And Ali did eventually get the kill on Fuch. Took a bit too long. The rest of the team had died right after that. And this is going to be another classic case of trying to touch the payload. Going to be a bit rushed, but Cleveland's been getting the best of these. Got to make sure someone gets there, though.
Yeah, this is really big clutch moment. It looks like Cushy's going to make it, though, so they're going to establish a little bit of something here and have one last fight. This is going to determine. We're going to see the Diva Bomb coming out. Mark drops the shield. Gosh, I feel like... and here comes the blade. Looks like PogChamp gets a kill in the Mercy, the Lucio there. We're going to see the Widow walls come out, so they're going to have all the information that they need. It looks like they're just going to put an end to it right there.
Cushy, unfortunately, that overtime was going on a bit too long. The timer gets shorter the longer it goes on. He thought he had time to sort of harass, and hop back on. Unfortunately, didn't have the time. Now let's check out this big play by PK. I don't know which one it was, but I know he consistently got double and triple kills with his ultimate.
Every single time this guy hits Q, he is getting some value. I mean, this guy, I think, was really the standout player this time.
And wow, what an insane game. PK, I mean, it's so hard to win when your team is dying consistently to that Diva Bomb. So hard. There's just so much pressure being put on them. They're consistently being caught out of position. And when they're caught out of position, really easy to get big bombs off, which is why PK was doing it so frequently. Cleveland Clutch has all the tools necessary to win this next game. It's just about calling those resets, the hard and soft resets, and having the discipline to follow up on them a little bit better. Because, like I said, you're only getting one fight for each section of that payload. Whereas on Andromeda Defense, they got 2 fights on that first section. They lost one, but the payload just came closer, got a hard reset, and actually were able to hop back on. So even though Snow's doing so much work, it's just too hard when you're, it's even worse when you have a good Widow, because you're losing the fight. Widow gets 2 kills, and you get this, trying to recommit last second, and you really, really want it, but unfortunately, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, Snow has got to be enabled a bit there, you know, because Andromeda is really aware of this man's presence in the game and, you know, how much of an impact he's going to make if he's left alone. His team's really got to be there and enable him, damage boosts, heals. I mean, the Mercy has really got to save him from the dive every time. You know, and give him some space, give him the ability to make those aggressive peaks, get those picks, the staggers. That's really what the Widow needs to be doing. The Widow playing so defensively is not so great because once you get the tanks just diving all over him like that, there's just nothing a Widow can do, no matter how good he is. So Marky Mark and just shutting him down every single time, applying the pressure. Like his team's just got to give him some space and some ability to do some work there because he can definitely do it. He's shown that.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem is, it looked like Cleveland's running Hanzo a little bit more than they're frequently running the Widow. And Hanzo's a lot harder to dive because he has that E ability. He has a bit better of a kit to deal with close quarters. So, yeah, just a little bit rough when you're running that Hanzo instead of the Widow, or when you're running the Widow instead of the Hanzo.
Yeah, Hanzo can, you know, nowadays just pull out that new storm bow and just, you know, fax the tank's head to Jesus, so to speak. So Hanzo definitely, and previously with Scatter Arrow, you know, of course the one tap Scatter Arrow, but Hanzo's definitely a better pick there if you're getting dove nonstop. He's got, you know, he's got a little bit of mobility and definitely the way to just evaporate tanks. I think it was just kind of just a really unfortunate game for Cleveland. It just got out of control way too fast. They pulled out the Sombra, which we hadn't seen yet, and we don't really know how often they play that. Maybe that's something they wanted to try. Maybe they had a plan for that. It's not really certain. I think the Sombra definitely works there, and I think Sombra is a very, very strong pick right now because the hacks are just so OP. I mean, you think like, you know, he hacks that Widow, she can't go anywhere, hacks Ryan, the shield's down. Hack is just really, really powerful in general and just about any hero in this game. So I think Sombra was the right pick. It just kind of didn't work out for him.
Yeah, he got caught out a bit too much, and it feels like the peels on the side of Andromeda are just so good. Like I said, in that game of Kill This Zenyatta, Valorous staying alive a lot longer during those very coordinated dives just because his team's there, and they're committing all their resources to making sure he doesn't die. And so if you're running, dive against dive, all of you are committing resources into killing someone, and all of you are committing resources into making sure that person doesn't die. I mean, whoever does their job wins the fight, and it looks like very often Valorous unkillable, even against a very strong dive. So, I think you got to just get a little bit better on the side of Cleveland Clutch. Maybe not even better, but just make that your focus. A lot of the time, these teams are able to do everything they need to. It's just that's not what their focus is. So I think Cleveland Clutch got to take a step back, take a breath, and just say, what can we do to make sure PogChamp is surviving these fights? Because a lot of the time, what Andromeda is doing is just figuring out how to get him killed. And it's really, really rough for the Cleveland Clutch.
You're absolutely correct on every single bit of that. I agree with it all. I think we're going to see Andromeda pull out the triple support here, Dancer. You check this out here. We've got the Brig, we've got the Lucio, and the Ana. This is going to be very interesting here, and I think it's a very good call on this map, on this first point especially.
Yeah, and I've been missing the triple support, and I mean, Iceman basically might as well be a tank. Brigitte, very hard to say she's just a support, but
she's very strong right now. There's no denying it.
Stun, no effect, because we do see Cushy using his shift there early to deny it.
Val just hits a giganto anti-heal there on the Brig there, and she just dies for free. It looks like Andromeda is kind of getting the best of him, though, here.
Yeah, if you're running tank comp into tank comp, I said it before, I said it with the Ryans, but it still applies with Orisa. If you're running a tank comp with a Brigitte and then a tank comp without a Brigitte, typically the one with Brigitte's gonna win. She's just too strong in the meta. And really, really rough there. They walked in, and that Reinhardt got so much swing off onto Cleveland Clutch. Already 90% is Marky on his ult.
Marky is extremely enabled in this comp. You've got the Lucio speed boost. You've got the Bridget just stunning with the heals. You've got Anna just with the huge. I mean, she's got the biggest heals per second in the game. You're dropping those big nades, and I think the Anna really needs to be respected here because those anti-heals can change a fight. She hits one, a huge one right there. The McCree was one hit.
And Anna focusing on the DPS, working out for her team. Doesn't even need to heal them. Hits the massive anti. Like you said, that anti basically means it's game over. Snow getting one pick, but shouldn't be enough to win the fight. The payload's going to keep on moving. And hopefully Cleveland can get a good hard reset and get that second fight we were talking about before. You should be pushing back a little bit more. You don't want to be poking. There's just no value in it.
Yeah, there's really no reason to be sitting out here like this because you risk someone else being picked here. Oh, Snow gets 2 big picks though, and then Pog with another aggressive trans. I just don't agree with it. You know, the guy needs to save that trans for defensive purposes. There's really no reason to use it offensively like that so often.
Yeah,
it
really,
looks
really
like
rough.
He's just trying to use it offensively and kind of, I don't know, secure the fight for his team, but it's really just not the same value.
And it can be done, and it can be done effectively, but I think a lot of the time, coming out a bit too late, and there it's really hard to judge if you're going to win a fight, especially when you don't know that Snow's going to pop off and just get a 2-tap on 2 of your friends' heads. So, yeah, as soon as Snow does that, it's basically game over. Really, really hard. There's no counterplay to getting sniped in the head, especially when your team's no longer running the Mercy, so there's no more mistake eraser for the side of Andromeda.
And I like how Blaze here on the Bridget just stacks the armor before the fight. That's a really, really good move, especially to get that on your supports. And Val hits a huge anti-nade again. He is just clobbering Bridget with these anti-nades, and she is just dying for free.
Yeah, Bridget very susceptible to the anti-nade. Andromeda on the hard offense. I mean, it looks like they haven't been pushing card all that much. So there would have been an opportunity for a regroup, but these staggers coming in far too hard. Fruit's getting the pocket shield from his Brigitte, able to do whatever he wants. But I mean, I thought that these supports were supposed to be enabling Marky Mark, but it looks like they're just tanking for Fruit here.
And then look at how brutal this spawn is for Cleveland. They are all literally just bottlenecked in that spawn right now.
I mean, really hard to deal with this monkey. You've made the monkey mad, and you're gonna have to pay.
He hits the sleep when he drops the bomb. Oh my gosh, Val just walks up and just puts Cushy to sleep when that bomb comes out. Oh my goodness. This guy, what a fantastic honor.
100%. This is just like, this is so hard to deal with. Like you said, those antis coming out on Brigitte. Brigitte typically infinite sustain in these fights, but when you're anti-healed, very easy to blow up.
Oh my gosh. That's could be a really game-changing shatter there, and Val's already thrown out the anti-heal, so he could die here.
He gets the pin on Val, but Val had armor, so didn't die. That's so rough. No one's died from that massive shatter, and he even pinned the supports to try and guarantee it.
Yeah, that's a really good eye there. The armor just lets him survive. Like, Bridget is just so good, just stacking that armor before the fight, and it just basically gave Val a second life.
Andromeda.
And another huge anti.
And Blaze wants to use his ult, but he gets antied, can't risk it, and now it looks like actually Andromeda's turning this fight around. They couldn't use Corndog Lover's ult to secure it, unfortunately. Or they could use it. They lost one. They used Corndog to get that advantage. And then, even though they got the res, they got an anti off. Val definitely MVPing with these massive antis. Consistently, his team is engaging, and then he's hitting the anti. There's 2 ways to play Anna super correctly. Both ways you should be antiing the enemy, but there's 2 ways to do it. You can either hit an anti, call it out, and your team engages. Or if you're very confident in your skills to hit this anti-grenade, you can call where it's going, and when your team lands there, especially when you're on the dive, Marky Mark was on the Winston at the end there for phase 2 and 3. when the monkey lands, you hit the anti there, so you're actually healing your monkey and denying healing on the enemy at the same time. You get double value. You actually get that healing boost as well. So that's what Val was doing. It takes a very, very skilled Ana to do it consistently, and it takes a very confident team. I mean, this team knows that Val is going to have their backs because they're diving, getting out of position, and that anti-heal basically stronger than the Discord. Discord makes it so you die faster, but anti-heal making it so you have that locked-in health pool. You can't get peeled for, you can't get healed for, you're just going to die immediately, and Val making this pick work for his team.
Yeah, I mean, Val, the guy really deserves to be acknowledged and shouted out here because he made a lot of good plays for his team. Like, anti-heal is just so powerful, and running in that triple support, there's plenty of heals going out. So I just think with Ana, the most important thing and most impactful thing that you can be doing with her is slamming those anti-heals as often as you can, especially when you have such beautiful team follow-up like Andromeda has. It's just like, it's so powerful, and it forces the team to play defensively every single time.
And off this engage, we're seeing the exact same thing, mirrored comps. Andromeda running the same thing Cleveland was, just waiting up on your Zarya. She takes a little while. You know how long those women take to get ready for combat. So Zarya waiting up on her, but then you're gonna engage hard, and we're looking for the bubble on Ryan. Zarya gets blown up way too fast though.
It's just like that country song, "Waiting on a Woman," they say.
And what a rough start. Andromeda definitely getting the massive ult economy advantage here. You get that first pick. I mean, Ali just went a little bit too forward, wanted to get a bit of charge. Instantly his bubble got blown up and the team focused him down. And then right off of that, Roadhog got a hook. PK hitting that strong hook. You're down 6-4 in the matter of 2 seconds. So really, really rough.
Yeah, maybe step back. Maybe not so much aggression. Like, maybe kind of sit here a minute and do something a little bit more coordinated. It looks like they just kind of just dove in there as hard as they could go and just kind of hope for the best.
And Ali's getting picked off. He's a bit too greedy. He wants so much charge. Every time he uses that bubble early, he ends up kind of being out of position and focused down. That's twice in a row. He's going to swap to the Fair here, get some damage in behind that shield.
Pharaoh's a pretty good call. I mean, there's really not a whole lot they can do to this Pharaoh, Andromeda that is, so he should be able to make an impact here, ideally.
Oh,
and he gets picked with the Junkrat tire, so unfortunate.
I mean, there's not much they can do unless a tire comes falling out of the sky. Then there is a whole heck of a lot you can do. That Junkrat tire denying that pharmacy, splitting them up a little bit and actually getting the kill on Farah.
Yeah, drops that tar up the wall and just blows him up right there in the choke point. Kind of low to the ground at the time, but now they know that the Junkrat ultimate is down, which is a huge team wipe ultimate, so maybe they can kind of play just a little bit more aggressively here, because they definitely got to get in there before Val gets that trans, or he's just kind of going to disable, you know, any kind of offensive ultimates that could be coming out here.
But it is going to be rough on this approach, because Marky Mark has his damage boost available. You're going to pop that on the approach and just focus this Ryan shield down. He's hoping to get in to get a shatter in behind that shield, but denied. Both tanks pop their ult, deny all that space, but a lot of ults being used on the side of Andromeda. You have those the dragon coming out, the damage boost, Hog used his ult as well, and the shatter ends up coming through anyways.
Ooh, Cushy with another just sneaky shatter. That's going to be his new thing in the Horizon Overwatch. He's just a sneaky shatter and son of a gun.
And still could be anyone's game here. Ali hoping to get a lot of big rockets. Not much to deny him anymore. He has that hard mercy pocket. As soon as the hook is done, there's not much else he can deal with. When this Zenyatta ult is over, you can expect to see this big, yep, the barrage comes out to play.
Gets hooked and then KOs himself. Pretty unlucky, but I think he was dead regardless, and now we're going to see the Roadhog ult come out. And Andromeda just turned that around. It wasn't looking good for them, honestly, for a little while there, but
it looked
they bought
really
some
bad.
time and made it happen.
Valorous had to use his ult early just to get the sustain on point. Had the tanks alive, but Pharaoh was ready, waiting, had the damage boost, had the Discord. able to blow up 3, but it's not enough. There's still 3. They clean up the fight on the back of a tire and some tank play on point. So really, really rough. Andromeda getting the recovery.
Cushy's so unlucky there. He dropped his shield and then got hooked through it. That is just pure unlucky. PK just really making an impact here. Hooks the Zarya, gets the kill there. PogChamp's going to get a kill on the Hanzo. Snow on the Mercy. This could be anyone's fight right now. Oh, and then PK with just another huge play. He hooks the Mercy and kills Foxy Medic.
Cushy getting the kill from the trap onto the Junkrat. This is going to be your chance. There's no healers. You're going to be able to kill Orisa without any help from her team.
PK is just such a playmaker, this guy is. He landed a lot of very, very important hooks there. Now we're going to see the Tracer duel. Oh, and then Corndog just coming in and erasing one more.
Oh, and unfortunate. Foxy got there just a bit too late to pocket his Tracer. A little bit rough. Andromeda keeps getting these recovery defenses. I can almost guarantee they shouldn't be winning these defenses, but they are consistently. And I don't even know what to say of it. And we're gonna see Marky Mark, the angry monkey in the tunnel. We saw this before, but let's see it again.
But this right here, this play right here could not have went better for Andromeda because they played so aggressive, and it just so happened like right as the payload hits that second point, like they're all bottlenecked in that spawn there. I mean, honestly, that was just pretty lucky. It could not have gone better for them right there. And then of course Val with that massive sleep just enables it, gets the bomb off. That was just, Andromeda is just really, really beautiful team play in all honesty. And I really would like to see more of Val's Ana, to be perfectly fair. I think the guy's really, really good on that, to be honest. Maybe a little underestimated.
100%. And to be a good Ana in this meta, not very popular on the support picks, very, very rarely played. And anytime she is played, it's 100% you're trying to get value out of that anti-heal. So the anti-heal, very strong. You get it in behind, and especially if there's a Moira or a Mercy on the other team, you basically deny all of their value. Their damage is just, it's almost non-existent. Moira does almost nothing. Best she can do is just try and refill her her healing bar, her resource meter, sorry, as that happens. But yeah, the anti-heal basically denies those two very meta healers, so that's why you see it very popular.
Yeah, I think Ana, just as a hero in general, definitely still has the ability to like make impacts in games, but she's kind of needs enabled a little bit because she's really, really weak to like divey comps. Like, you know, say like a Winston Diva dives on her or a Genji gets all over her. She pretty much has to hit that sleep every time. And I think this triple support meta that I think we're kind of going to be seeing more and more of is like Bridget just kind of evolves as a hero and competitive. Is really going to help out Ana in situations like that because, you know, Bridget can just throw that healing pack and just insta-top her, stun, and even solo flankers on her own. So I think, you know, it's like Jeff said a long, long time ago when he was getting ready to announce this hero, he said that she would be meta changing, and that's certainly been more than true. And I think she brings a lot of opportunity to play very, very interesting compositions. And that triple support being one of them, which, like we say, enables Ana and actually kind of gives her a place in the meta with her, you know, little bit of shortcoming.
100%, yeah. And the unique thing about Bridget is she can use her ult to give armor too, and that armor, when you're anti-healed, can still be gained. So she has an ability to somewhat heal through anti-heal. So that is another part of the meta that she can kind of change, where Ana was played for that anti-heal ability so strong, but now you have a little bit of counterplay, whereas before the only thing you could do to deny that was to try and get a bubble on top of the anti-heal target. Bubble does have a cleansing property, but now you're able to sort of pop that Brigitte ult. If it's early on in an engage, you're actually going to get a lot of healing done through that armor. And armor is a bit stronger than health. It actually has I think a 30% damage reduction or 15. I don't know what it is, but it is pretty helpful on that side. It does have that damage reduction, can go through anti-heal. So that's another meta-changing aspect that I don't think a lot of people thought of when Brigitte was announced and released.
Certainly, and her ult is truly, it's the only ult in the game that's best used before the fight. Like, it's really not something you want to use while you're fighting, but before the fight, as Blaze had, like, demonstrated there, he knew the fight was coming. He waited a little bit of time. He knew they was regrouping. He stacked up all of the supports there, stacked the armor, and we saw that come into play when Val got charged by Cushy, and he survived, which never happens. That just shows you the effective healing and the value of that armor. You're putting that armor on your supports so they can survive dives. You're putting it on their tanks so they can make more space and play more aggressive. Like, she is just really, really enabling for honestly every single role in the game. She enables flankers, she enables tanks, and she enables supports in a way, like allowing pretty much our entire team to play so aggressive and just be safe all the time. I mean, she's just really, really, really strong. Maybe a bit too strong, but I think that's just maybe a matter of opinion. But she's definitely very, very game-changing, and I think she brings a lot of freshness to the game.
And a lot of these maps we've been playing today, I feel like they've been all dive maps. So we haven't been able to see this new meta. We've barely seen the Brigitte tonight, but I am still interested with this new Hanzo. Hanzo's being really largely incorporated into the dive now that he's somewhat more mobile, but he also can just counter dive so well. And this has been the meta of counter dive, where people started to learn, hey, we can start diving tanks when they dive our supports, and we can win a fight through that. So he's really, really strong at that. We've been seeing him so much. And I'm starting to get a hankering for some more Hanzo. So hopefully we're going to see that as we head over to Lijiang.
I think it's definitely a possibility. There's not a lot of places where Hanzo really doesn't work, I wouldn't think. Definitely different could be said about Bridget, because I think the reason we've not seen Bridget on a couple of these maps here is because of all the high ground where she's really not going to have an effect.
Yeah, there was a little bit of hope once she had that shield bash, that weird vertical movement that she was able to do. But as soon as that was patched out of the game, I think there's still a few spots you can do it, but it's definitely not hit the skybox friendly anymore. She isn't able to deny that high ground, like you said.
Yeah, she has definitely a problem with that, which is, totally fine, of course. But I think on these maps where it's a little bit more close quarters, not so much high ground, I think she just shines. She shines like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm interested. Widow typically picked here, but I feel like Snow's been so confident and so happy on that Widow pick. I wonder if he's going to stick with it, because running the Widow into a Pharah can be very beneficial. But no, we're going to have that Sky duel, the Pharah v Pharah, but it looks like only on the side of Cleveland Clutch is there an actual pharmacy. Valorous going to have to be giving that orb to Optimal Shot in order to heal up his Pharah on the side of Andromeda.
Yeah, Snow, as far as the Widow, he's a really great Widow, but Pharah is very, very powerful on this map, so I think it's for sure the better pick. And I think Andromeda kind of expects it now. They know the guy's a good Widow, so they plan for that every single round, which I think it reflects in the comp. But if you're going to play the Pharah here, I think you certainly need to be running a Mercy to kind of enable the Pharah a bit.
Oh, and the initial speed boost is used to get out a door, but then they did swap onto the same comp. Both sides do have the pharmacy with Mercy and Zen to back it up.
Yeah, very good calls. It looked like they were going to run the Lucio at first. I was kind of skeptical on that, but they definitely made the right choice to run with the pharmacy. She's just too strong on this map. It looks like Allie's going to get picked. PogChamp, Snow, and Blaze just all at the same time, just dying very, very quickly. And it looks like Cushy's going to follow here. He's just kind of staggering himself a little bit, it seemed like, but he got out of there.
And Optimal going so far deep, wanted the kill on the tank, saw Mercy there, actually went in bubble to try and hit the 2 directs. Unfortunately couldn't get it, but that was a close shot there. Getting very, very confident in his positioning. And even gets the ground shot to finish Snow.
absolutely very good call. He was being healed, damage boosted by his Mercy. If Cushy's not paying any attention there and gets picked, that's a huge stagger for him.
And look at all this damage that Optimal's just getting in. I mean, all Cleveland Clutch is trying to do is get into position. And look, they already got a pick on the side of Andromeda. So much damage. Optimal already has his ult, whereas Snow's 50% on his side. Because the defensive Pharah is so much stronger, you can pump this damage on the approach, whereas you can't do that on the offensive side. Your team will just LOS it.
For sure, and Snow's not had much opportunity to get anything going here, but it looks like Foxy is going to pop that Valk. Oh, that was a pretty huge rockets there, to be honest. Kills the Mora with the ult. That's a lot of value that's gone. We're going to see Val come out with the trans. We're going to see the bomb come out as well. And it looks like they're just going to suicide here. Good call. You know, just live to fight another day on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland Clutch is playing for that sustain. That's why they're running this double healer comp. All about the sustain. You're going to have Mercy pocketing your Pharah, making her unkillable, and then you're going to have your Moira sticking with the tanks, doing all that tank area of effect healing. So, very strong comp, but they lost the Moira early, had to call the reset because their win condition was gone.
Yeah, certainly, and they really need to get on point here, get grouped up and get on point, because that's where Moira's going to shine the most. And Snow comes out with the rockets, picks Iceman, and it's going to get Diva out of mech. Cushy's just going to send Val flying.
And that was so rough. PogChamp had to use his entire ult just to keep his Mercy alive, unable to heal anyone else on his team. But yeah, it looks like it might have been enough.
Pretty much had no choice there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the dive coming out too strong. Mercy focused so hard. He's forced to help her out, which is the right thing to do. It's just really, really rough when you have that feeling.
Yeah, it's just what can you do? Well, it looks like Foxy breaks mech and then kills PK. the
wow. I mean, if someone was able to touch point, that probably would have been a one play on the back of Foxy Medic. Really strong, pulling out that pistol, showing that Mercy's not just about that healing. Definitely can do some damage too.
Oh, she pulls out that pistol. If she gets the crosshair in the right place, she can do some very, very surprising damage. I'm ashamed to say I've been killed by a couple of Mercies in my day. It's very surprising, to say the least.
We'll say it's a humbling experience getting that pistol damage to the face, seeing that really, really embarrassing. I mean, so you can just sometimes pretend that, oh yeah, Mercy just last hit me, oh she melee hit me, but sometimes your team's gonna know that, hey, that Mercy just did 200 damage on me, and I just got bested by the meme of a Mercy main.
It means indeed, and we're gonna see Andromeda come back out with the triple support. It looks like they're gonna run a Mora this time instead of the Ana, but I think it's gonna be probably on this map even more effective considering all the close quarters.
Yeah, that orb is never going to stop healing. It's going to bounce around infinitely, always healing your team. Even if you're trying not to heal your team as Moira, you're going to end up healing them all because it's so close quarters, like you said. Really, really strong. But Snow getting in the back line actually got the pick on the Zarya. They might be able to walk in here because the tank line's going to be stronger on the side of Cleveland Clutch.
For sure, and Mora's throughput on a map like this is just going to be just absolutely overwhelming. We're going to see the Junkrat Tower come out. It's going to go back around to the supports. Ali just knows. Very, very good awareness. Just takes care of that quick.
And Marky Mark
charged. Oh, that huge hammer!
Besting them. Wow. Marky Mark's so strong. Gets the knock, knocks him into wall, then gets the pin. That's basically, I don't know, 370 damage right there instantly. Just deletes Cushy on his own. Really, really strong showing, but Snow consistently in the back here. Oh, and they traded a boop for the headshot there.
Marky Mark just showing that he is the alpha Ryan, so to speak. This guy plays a very, very beautiful Ryan. There's no question. I think Snow kind of needs to consider maybe not playing the wood. Oh my goodness! What a shatter, but there's no follow-up.
That seems to be the story of Cushy. Every time he gets a big shatter, very hard to follow up on. Marky Mark looking to build his up quickly. This is just a chaos of healing, but optimal shot coming out on top. So much damage coming out of that Junkrat. It's all but over here. Just short cleanup. Mercy Res isn't going to do much, just going to help them build their ults. And Marky Mark gonna have the shatter for this last engage here. Foxy trying tearly to get out with her life. Unfortunately, she makes it. Kudos. I thought that was all but over.
Oh, Cushy has got to be so disappointed there. I mean, he made a huge play for his team and just unfortunately did not get ball. And Marky Mark makes a huge play as well, and the huge grab. Freaking the Kamehameha comes out from the Mora and just evaporates him. I think that's the play of the game.
Yeah, Valorous definitely cleaning up. No need for that tire to come through because so much damage being pumped into the enemy team. And wow, that was really, really rough.
Oh my gosh, Val, I mean, like, Mora is just so strong in that scenario because not only are you healing all of your teammates in a line, you're also doing so much damage in that grab. I mean, he's lucky to get all the kills there, but still a very fun thing to see. He just pops that coalescence in there and just does work for his team. Tons of heals and tons of damage on that.
Yeah, and you know Marky Mark's walking in there, like, moving his hammer around, trying to get his ult back really quickly. And Valorous, even if he was trying to only go for damage, he's going to end up pocketing Marky Mark as well. So, like you said, tons of damage and healing all at once. Everyone's in a line. Massive value combining that with the Graviton Surge.
Pretty much the perfect scenario for any more coalescence. The exact value you would love to have out of every single one. It was just fantastic play.
And Snow gonna be left here on the high ground. If he can take care of this Tracer, he's gonna be able to do tons and tons of damage from the side.
Oh, Cushy with that huge charge! What a great play! I think Cleveland needs to get on the point now. They have the numbers. They need to get on here and fight and cap this point. They're just kind of giving some ground there for kind of no reason.
But Valorous once again sitting in the back, and he almost got his Zenyatta ult before the game even started. They're still going to be able to contest. I mean, oh no, that 5-stack's so big. Cushy gets blown up immediately after. The call's coming through on the side of Andromeda. This is so painful. Valorous cannot be dealt with, doing way too much work. Finally, the call comes to Tracer. Tracer trying to get rid of him. And finally, Cleveland Clutch able to deal with him, get this point off to a good start. But Valorous built ult way too quickly. That was so painful to watch. Oh man, you got to take care of that Zen much earlier. He's just doing too much work for your backline.
Oh, Val just came in there and he was dinking non-stop. That might have been some of the quickest Zen ult building I've ever seen. I mean, he just sat alone and just dink, hitting those headshots non-stop.
And Cleveland, oh, no need to commit that surge. Ali's going to carry just with that 100% charge. Doesn't need any help from his team. That Mercy damage boost coming through to help him out too, so he's doing more than double what his regular damage output should be. That's so strong. Marky getting caught out, getting a little bit poked here too.
Full charge Zori is something you definitely need to respect. It is very scary damage. She's got to be dealt with.
Snow missed his shift and actually went over into the spawn side, tried to hide but got caught out. So this is going to be the advantage of Andromeda walking on the point.
Very good positioning by Optimal with those rockets there. Unfortunately, not doing too much, but kills the Lucio, gets some value out of that. Marky Mark picks Foxy. Marky Mark also going to kill Zarya, killing Ali. And it looks like the battle Mercy. I think you may not want to pick Corndog Lover if he pulls his pistol out. How many kills has this man got?
More than my regular Mercy should have. Really proud of him. Showing that, you know, Mercy does have a bit of self-peel beyond running away.
This man certainly knows how to use that gun. I see him on the kill feed a little bit often there.
A lot of ults coming up online for everybody. Both sides coming up on 4 ults, 5 ults here. And it looks like Ali's going to commit the ult.
Kind of a diva bomb there just to back everybody off. I think it's a good call. Cushy gets a charge on Marky Mark who's ulting. Looks like Val's going to get a really fat trans, a lot of healing here.
Yeah, and Ali's gonna, I mean, putting so much damage on the tanks, but the dive coming through, that target focus too strong, and look where Val is again. Right after that is, he's in the backline just putting damage onto tanks. calling his discords for his team. Val really carrying a lot of these fights. You know that the comms are coming in through very clear. Very often, Val's doing most of the damage, and his team's just cleaning it up. That's not Zenyatta's job, but you gotta be happy when you see it.
Val is definitely picking it up. He is getting all the value he can get out of this Zen. And I also love the combination of Marky Mark and PK. These guys are so coordinated. Oh, gets in the grab and Val dies instantly. This is looking really good for Cleveland here. And he gets that charge, D-Max PK. Looks like Cleveland's going to take this one here.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you use your Zenyatta ult, if there is a Zarya with grab on the other team, basically going to be a free fight, one for them. Gets too caught up in that, both supports, cleans them up very quickly. There's no sustain left, and dive is basically done right after that. Ali building up another ult, trying to see if he can get one more before the end of this match.
They definitely need to be looking for a combination here. Oh my gosh! Gets a good shatter on PK there. They need to demech him here. Oh, Optimal just comes from behind and just deletes Cushy.
And so much going on here. This is so rough. You got an angry monkey again. Mercy's not going to be able to get away from that. Andromeda coming out on top after that. So much pressure being applied with this dive. So strong. They just got to wait this last 10 seconds. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch on the side of Cleveland.
It's hard to say. I mean, Andromeda is so coordinated. That everything they do is so beautiful and so coordinated. He drops the bomb to back him off. Cushy is alone. He's going to get picked. Oh my goodness. And Ali is alone as well. Just going to drop the grab. That's got three in there.
But Blaze going to get the backup. Oh, and I mean, PK just getting there in time to deny the finish. If no one would have touched, it would have been all over, and Blaze would have actually carried that last fight. But unfortunately, they do spot it out. PK peeling back just in time to deny that final 3 seconds.
Yeah, Andromeda has some ults there, drops the Diva Bomb, so everybody has to back off. Cushy was just taken off, and he just got unlucky, got out of position. And I'm shocked we're not seeing the Kamehameha 4K, but we're going to see some beautiful round play instead.
And I feel, yeah, it's the exact same play. It's just, I guess, he did a little bit. Oh, see, when he charges through, he does, I think, 75 damage to each opponent, as well as that 300 on the pin. So he actually did a ton of work with just that one pin. Really, really strong on the side of Marky Mark. And, you know, we like seeing him on that pick because that's how much work he just ends up doing. Oh, wow. I'm very impressed by these teams. And I'm excited to see them in HCC. I think they can go pretty far away because that was some impressive play. I think there's a few things you got to work out. The target calling on Andromeda was phenomenal. And the peels as well. That was so strong. Cleveland Clutch, we saw that their DPS has the capability to win these games. They're just tapping on heads all day. Snow, I dropped my jaw probably every 5 minutes of this entire scrim. I'm so impressed by him. But I want to see a bit better peels, and it feels like they can't really deny those picks. The only time that he was getting a lot of value on Widow is when Valorous finally switched to that Ana and wasn't able to res all of his picks. So really strong play from both teams. A few kinks to work out with, but like I said, I think they could go very far for the way of HCC.
For sure. I think Cleveland is a good team, and I think they have the potential to be great because they have the playmakers. Snow, in particular, a very big playmaker. Cushy, very big playmaker. All of these guys are playmakers in their own right, but Cushy and Snow really showed up tonight. I think those are the two guys they can sort of build a team around. They've got the potential, the talent, the skill, the game sense is all definitely there. As you say, just work out a few kinks here and there. Andromeda is clearly just a very great cohesive unit. Everything they do is so coordinated. And something I for sure would like to mention is I love the tank combination of Marky Mark and PK. Them two guys are always on the very same page.
I agree.
Every single time they dive, it's together, it's coordinated. They're on the same targets all the time. They're always there to stop ults. These two guys are really great tank players, and Val is a really great support player. I mean, they've really got some big time big time players, but I think the most impressive to me was definitely the combination of Marky Mark and PK. Those two guys work so well together, and it shows the
Yeah,
impact.
definitely. Like, preach it, brother. And it's not about just being a good player. It's not about just being a good tank. A lot of the time on this channel, what we see is good tank play, not backed up by a team. Thankfully, and I'm so happy, that's what we saw. That's what we did not see on the side of Andromeda today. Marky Mark, it doesn't matter how deep he went, he was backed up by PK, backed up by his healers, and that's what you need. The difference between a feeder and a carry is just your team backing him up. If you play on the same page with that much aggression, it's hard to have an answer for it, right? Having a Winston in your face, easy to deal with. You shoot him, you peel your team, 60 damage a second is nothing. It's so negligible. It can just end up being denied. But if you get that 60 damage a second along with the DPS with a Tracer or a Genji or a Hanzo or a Widow, and then along with that Diva to peel for him so you can't kill him, or even to just help damage if they see the target's low, that becomes an unstoppable unit. And then you pair that along with whatever healers you need, the Discord or sustain, just so hard to deal with, right? And it's such a far way to go from, hey, this Winston just did 60 damage a second, or wow, that Winston was unkillable and bought so much space for his team. So that's what we love to see. That's why I watch these scrims. That's why I'm not, streaming in solo queue, because you don't see that in solo queue. You only see that in organized team play of this level where teams have been playing with each other for a while and their callouts are good and their cohesion is good. And you said it best, Rebel. It's just the way it works. This team knows what they're doing. Clutch, I think they had a lot of those big plays too. It was maybe a bit less consistent, but when it happened, it was so big and it looked so good. But that's it for our HCC Showcase Day 3. What an amazing scrim. Came out to be amazing. Thank you so much to Cleveland Clutch, to Andromeda, my wonderful co-host, Redneck Rebel. Make sure you tune in. We're live tomorrow and Friday as well, 8 p.m. EST. Gonna be so good. We got more awesome hype scrims going on all the time. Gonna be amazing. The tournaments, 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday. Those games are gonna be amazing too. You don't want to miss any of it. Make sure you check us out. And thanks so much for listening.